Recently, I attended the Bankruptcy Leadership Summit in Nashville, Tennessee at the Dave Ramsey headquarters. In his introductory remarks, Dave Ramsey discussed his own bankruptcy that he filed years ago to stop debt collectors from taking the furniture in his home after the banks had called the loans on his real estate investments. He told us about the heartache and the feelings of failure that he had when, despite doing everything he could to avoid it, he finally had to pull the trigger and file for bankruptcy protection. There's no question that most people who file for bankruptcy go through these exact same emotions. Even though most can logically wrap their minds around the need for their bankruptcy case, many really struggle with the feelings of failure. Dave shared a powerful experience about when he and his wife were leaving the meeting of creditors in his own bankruptcy, and him finally realizing that the daily struggle against his debt was finally over, and that he was truly getting a fresh start. You are not your bankruptcy, and there are a couple takeaways from Dave Ramsey's life story that should provide you hope. First, your bankruptcy doesn't need to define who you are. At its most basic, bankruptcy is simply a legal process for dealing with overwhelming debt problems. However, there's much more involved when it comes to bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a legal process in the same way that a divorce proceeding is merely a legal process. We know that both carry a significant amount of emotional baggage. And while those feelings are real, it's important to understand that you are not your bankruptcy. Your bankruptcy is a point in time, and while it's true a bankruptcy has consequences, there are times, just as Dave Ramsey experienced, where bankruptcy is necessary. Your future is bright. The second thing you can learn from Dave Ramsey's bankruptcy is that just because you're going through financial difficulties now, doesn't mean that your future isn't going to be a bright one. I can't imagine on the day that Dave Ramsey filed for bankruptcy that he would have dreamt of such a successful and prosperous future. You have every right to be as equally optimistic. If you do one more key thing that Dave did, and that's that he learned from his prior mistakes. If you file for bankruptcy and go back to your old financial ways, there's no reason to think that your future will be any different than your present situation. You must find the problem, address the problem, and make a plan to move forward for a more prosperous future. Thanks for watching.